here's the good news. I'm very rich. I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I'm really rich.
I'm the most successful person ever to run.
Fortunately, I'm very rich. So I have a total net worth, and now with the increase, it'll be well over $10 billion. I'm not doing that to brag, because you know what? I don't have to brag. I don't have to, believe it or not.
Well, what are we talking about? Where did this start? Where does this dollar figure come from?
Yeah, John, so let's go back to the beginning. This case is the civil lawsuit filed by the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, against Donald Trump and his companies, alleging, and now having proved, that they overinflated their assets and then used that in order to get loans from banks. So a couple things. First of all, he does still get to appeal. I've heard it said that he cannot appeal unless he posts a bond. Not true. He can still appeal. The verdict against him came from the trial court, which confusingly in New York State is called the Supreme Court. Don't ask me why.
Leave it to New York.
Right. He can still appeal the case to the appellate division and perhaps to the Court of Appeals. But the problem, if he fails to post a bond, is while he's appealing here, Letitia James, the Attorney General, she can start collecting. She can seize his bank accounts. She can start the process of trying to seize and then liquidate or sell off his properties.
New York Attorney General Letitia James is urging an appeals court to ignore Donald Trump's claim that securing a bond is a practical impossibility. His lawyer said Trump is facing insurmountable difficulties in obtaining a bond to guarantee he can pay if he loses his appeal of a nearly $500 million civil fraud judgment. They said more than 30 insurance companies turned him down, and they asked for court permission to post a smaller bond, or none at all.
To be clear, the bonding companies won't give him the money because at some degree they don't think he's good for it, or they don't like the collateral he's putting up, correct?
It's a loan, essentially, yes.
Okay.
The other potential development that could bail Donald Trump out here is he could get a cash infusion. Someone could come along, loan him cash. We won't necessarily know who that is. That's a private transaction.
He could take that money from just about anyone and promise them just about anything if he gets back in the White House. Think of that. Earlier this month, Trump met with the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, who certainly has policy preferences he would like to see from the U.S. government. Musk claimed after the meeting he's not donating to either candidate for president, although Elon Musk says lots of things that turn out not to be true. Trump also met with conservative hedge fund manager Jeff Yazd, who has a $33 billion stake in TikTok and has reportedly threatened to cut off funding to Republicans who support the TikTok divestment bill. Guess what? Days later, Trump came out and flipped his position on banning the social media platform. Of course, there are also many foreign entities who would love to have power and influence over the man who may be the next president of the United States.
All that fundraising on the campaign trail, what are the limitations on how that money can be used when it comes to his legal disputes?
Right. We know that last year, for example, he used $50 million in money that was raised through donors on legal bills. He can pay off lawyers, but he cannot use campaign money to satisfy civil court judgments.
I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I'm really rich.
Trump and his allies are making increasingly desperate appeals.
But if you could chip in, if you've done well, if you've remembered those great 4 years that we had where you made a lot, we need your help.
You need to help this man, Donald J. Trump. They're trying to drain him dry. He spent more money on lawyers than most people spend on campaigns. Give the president some money to fight this bullshit. This is going to destroy America. I'm sorry I'm so upset, but please help President Trump. If you can afford $5 or $10.
I am very humbly asking if you could chip in $5, $10, or even $25.
If you've ever voted for my father, I'm asking you to chip in $5, $10, or even $25 to his campaign today.
The last thing you want is a president who's an owned man his first day in office.
You're prepared to have the state move to seize Trump's assets?
We are prepared to make sure that the judgment is paid to New Yorkers.
So I have a total net worth, and now with the increase, it'll be well over $10 billion.
It was unusual to hear someone who so often boasts about his wealth say he could not obtain a bond.